Welcome, everyone, to Three Kobolds Gaming, where we play Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Oh, do
Yes.
we now?
And tonight,
Yes.
we continue
Yes.
our Heroes of Absalom campaign.
Yes, the
Yes.
heroes.
Yeah, the heroes.
Meh.
Yes.
A couple of quick announcements before we jump in.
Mm.
First off, I apologize if the stream randomly drops. I've been having some internet issues. Not really sure what's going on with that, but just refresh. We haven't left. It will reconnect. It's just like a momentary. It decides to stop connecting for literally no time whatsoever, but that completely screws OBS and the stream. Just refresh. We'll be there. I promise.
It's like when you step on a hose, but the hose
Exactly.
is the Ethernet cable, so like
Exactly.
the internet cuts out.
I will say, if Jack goes back into that room with the bag, I will rage quit. So if the stream stops because of that,
That's
don't come
different.
back.
Yeah, don't come back.
Second
We'll just go to the
announcement.
technical difficulties sign.
Second announcement. We will be taking a brief pause from Heroes of Absalom for the next 2 weeks, but we'll still be here. Myself, Emily Grace, and Dan will be joining two mystery guests
Ooh.
for a undisclosed mini adventure.
Ooh.
While Jack decides that Canada, for some reason, is a worthwhile place visiting, and Ben continues to study for the bar. So we will have a side adventure coming to you for the next 2 weeks. Those are the announcements. I have a quick question.
What's up?
What's up?
Jack, I'm sure you can empathize, sympathize, one of the two. I'm not sure what human emotions you're capable of feeling. With
We'll find out.
As a storyteller, as a GM, as a narrator, figuring out what key points your players are taking away from the story arc. And we've talked about it occasionally off stream, but every once in a while, I like to gauge the opinions and feelings of the players on stream.
Kind of.
How are you? I mean, I don't care. This is for the viewers. How are you guys feeling? Do we have any predictions? Do we have any guesses as to what's going on here? Because more and more of this segment of the story has unfolded, and I want to see what you all are taking away.
Are you asking specifically about what's going on?
I'm not asking for any specifics. I'm asking just overall.
Oh, got it. Okay.
In here with the Twilight 4, just in general.
Dan?
So it seems like there is a large celestial event possibly happening at the moment in which some plan of Norgorber, Mordor is going to be enacted that Jonas Flackfatter, that's the dude, not
Yep.
not the
German
other
Hoff.
J. Yeah.
Not German
Not
Hoff,
German.
the other J guy.
Dude, German Hoff,
Um,
book 6 boss. Book 6 boss.
Never know.
Yeah. He seems pretty confident about what's going on. Unbothered. Anybody else want to pick up
Well, yeah, so
other stuff?
I don't know how connected like Flackfatter is with this big storm that's coming in. I agree that it's not just a big bad storm, right? Like it's something
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Obviously the telescope room I think is very telling that like there's something going on in this hunting lodge that maybe was even trying to figure out deeper secrets, right? But
Mm-hmm.
something will happen here soon. One of the things that has always stood out to me has been the missing Primarch. It's the Primarch, right? That's what he's called.
Yeah.
The title. And like the fact that we got involved then with like the sort of stewards of Absalom,
Yeah, like the acting Primarch and the
Yeah.
Spell Lord. Yeah.
Like there's something going on there, and I think that has to be tied in with Norgorber in some way. Like I think that the Twilight Four is maybe trying to make a play for the city in some capacity. Yeah, I don't know.
And it's just weird that we were sent to this lodge by Runewolf and also like the people connected to him, which is the Archmage and all those the people. Oh, who?
Yeah, we were sent by like the people in charge of the city.
Yeah.
Whoops. Somehow my mic cut off without me touching anything on stream.
Classic.
So it wasn't specifically the Grey Cloaks who asked you to do that. It was the right-hand man of Winsel Starborn, Oriel. Yeah.
What I always like about adventures like this one and a lot of Paizo content in general is that they intentionally keep things from you until later on in the adventure that like are crucial to discovering the whole onion.
Mm.
You know, as fun as it is to have stuff in book 1 that reveals the plotline of book 6, like if you figure it out, it kind of ruins the surprise. So like they continually keep stuff like the fact that Norgorber is like personally involved, right? Like we physically could not have known that until we met his herald and killed him.
Yeah.
Like we would never have known that. So
Yeah.
Absolutely, there is stuff that is like obfuscated from us to predict their whole adventure. I do agree with the spectral event, the celestial event. But what I think is also really fun about this adventure is that Norgorber is literally the god of lies and secrets.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so like we can't trust anyone and in any way. Like it is us four against every single person in the city as far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
One thing I, just because of the characters I've played in this adventure, from Firin, but also like the Doctor, because we're in Absalom, I spent a lot of time like just on the wiki reading about Eridan.
Yeah.
And like the storm, like the Eye of Abendigo is deeply connected to Eridan.
Mhm.
And now there's this impending storm looming, and I can't help but notice the connection potentially.
Yeah, the parallel.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm
The Eye of Abendigo preceded by like 2 weeks or something the disappearance of Eridan. It was like a building hurricane that people saw coming, and then when it made landfall and submerged half of a continent, not half of a continent, but like half of a
2 major cities went
Yeah.
underwater.
like
and were
it
destroyed.
submerged everything in the like northwestern portion of Garund on the day that Aridin disappeared.
Yeah.
Um,
And like that's part of Fearon's whole thing is he was a cleric of Aridin with the Doctor, and then like when Aridin died, he became this like explorer in the Eye. So like I want there to be something there. I don't know if it will, but I'm very excited about that.
looking for answers, always looking for answers.
Shock's also from the Sodden Lands, which is the new name for the marshy, destructed area that those cities used to be in. And so he's been looking at that eye in the
Mhm.
hurricane for his entire life until he came to Absalom. And so a lot of that is coming back to him, I'm sure, for now. So I don't know. Like,
If
where's
this
it?
were a sandbox adventure, we'd be going there. That's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And so we have to we have some boxes to check, right? We have other 2 Twilight 4 members to deal with. We have investigations of like what they're doing, but and the inevitable influence of Norgor, but what that looks like beyond like his herald, I have no idea. But I'm psyched to find out.
Yeah, it's, you know, Paizo is Paizo, right? You get your kind of Paizo narrative arc, if you will, and that can be broken down into the various genres of the campaign. You know, because they have your classic adventure genres, but then they also have like mystery, cosmic horror. They have your pirate campaign. They have your XYZ. They've got Strength of Thousands, which is literally just like Harry Potter but Pathfinder Second Edition.
Go to wizard school.
Which looks so cool. But it all kind of does follow a narrative structure, right? With these professional writers, go figure. And even though the books are generally written by different authors, they still have that connecting thread across them. And some APs do better than others in connecting the books. But I think, kind of like what's being talked about in chat, if you do the prep ahead of time and you can connect and further strengthen those ties between books, then you really get something special. But you know who really is special? Jonas Flackfetter, one of the 4
No, it's not.
marked by Norgorber, entered into a pact with a literal deity itself. Unfortunately, he's fallen on hard times, recently been captured by some 4 random ne'er-do-wells who have decided to put a stop to his plans for a betterment of Galarian.
Good way of putting it.
I am at best inconsequential. Not random.
No, we come back to Absalom's Hunting Lodge 7, the neutral ground on which Jonas Flackfetter is being held until jurisdiction can be established by the various districts of Absalom who hold claim over the crimes that he has committed. You all have already been through somewhat of a ringer. You were told that it would essentially be 3 days, at which point every district had 3 days to make their case, and at the end of that time, Winsel Starborn, the acting Primarch, would make the decision. And the Star Watch, the kind of the elite guard of the city, would come and claim Jonas from you and take him to whichever district won their case. It's been just under 10 hours, and you guys have already almost died multiple times.
Yeah.
And only
We
one...
almost died almost once, but...
Yeah, and only one attack so far from the cultists in an attempt to reclaim Jonas. You all have been exploring the area, finding mysterious artifacts as well as strange and disturbing artwork and effigies A number of the bedrooms contained esoteric writings of various descriptions of undeath or various stellar constellations that pointed towards everlasting life. Kind of these themes of undeath and immortality pervade the bedrooms. Whereas you go upstairs to this strange observatory that is completely boxed in, and yet you look through a telescope and see strange constellations in far off distances that seem to be, from a perspective, impossible to achieve from Galarian. And yet it is a simple magical, well, not simple, but it is a magical trap that appears to give you the most pause. What appears to be the most easily defensible and strongest position to hold Mr. Jonas, the vault in the hunting lodge, is, I say guarded loosely because you have intentionally, quote unquote, intentionally set off the trap twice, but is pretty well guarded if the trap goes off.
It is a well defended place for people who love bags.
Yes. Twice you have removed a bag of holding from one of the chandeliers, and twice you have been assaulted by the magical trap, which extends the chains and launches flames from the candles of the chandelier. And we come back now as Bloody Burlith continues erecting a barricade